Hello, hi everyone. In this video, I would like to show you how to create a data lookup table. So first of all, let's see what is a data lookup table, how we are using the data lookup table in a Servicenow in application, for example. I have the incident application here, and as you know, we have the impact and urgency and priority fields. So if you change any information on these fields, you're going to get immediately on the priority level, it's going to be critical. Or if you put medium, and again, if you put medium, it's going to be moderate. So the way this thing is done in the backend, what we call, there is a table, which is saying, hey, I have this relation. If the impact, if it's medium, if the urgency, if it is medium, give me as a priority, put me moderate. So we design this table, we create this table in the backend, and also some other technical thing which we need to do in order to make this happen. So what if you try to do the same thing, but if you include, for example, the category and the subcategory. Let's say I'm going to put software and then email, and I would like to have here a particular group which is going to be software, for example. So I want software. Okay. Okay, I'm looking for software, so it's here. So I want this situation. So when I choose category software and subcategory email, I want the assignment group to be software. So this can be done as well with the same feature. We can create the data lookup table in this way by putting a condition like category, subcategory, and then the assignment group will be software. So this is highly effective if you're a business oriented person. For example, you would like to have the triaging of your incoming requests done very quickly and goes to the appropriate person. For example, if it is critical, if it is moderate, if it is low, you can divide your team and assign different level of priority to appropriate person, to appropriate group. For example, even you can put the appropriate person after. Let's say you have a high level, high impact, and urgency also is high, so it's going to be critical. So you want a specific team handle that request. The assignment group is going to be a really specific team. It's not like software or email. These person are experts on that incident. They're going to take over of the problem and solve it immediately. So it's not just a group, it's the way of working, and that will give you a response rate for your clients, an immediate response rate. Like you can solve these issues much more faster by having this kind of organization. Also, if you are looking at reports, for example, and you want to know how many incidents were recorded in a particular group. Let's say I want software, and you can have it an accurate data with that report, because this thing, if it is automated and no one is manually updating this data, you are going to have an accurate report. And if someone is doing, perhaps there will be some mistake. So let's create the same data lookup table that we have already for this one, but we are going to create now for the category and subcategory, and we are going to trigger certain assignment group. So let me show you the Excel file sheet that I have here. So this is the situation. So I'm gonna have category inquiry, software, hardware, network, database, and subcategory. So if it is inquiry and it's going to be the subcategory antivirus, I'm going to assign to the group service desk. And if it is software and email, it's going to be software. If it is network, DHCP is going to be network, and so on. And the order here is something important that we have to make sure that the numbers here are good. These are like random numbers, but they have some sort of logic. I will come back to this later. And I call this one matchers, and I call this one setters. So matchers because those values should be chosen on your form level, in the incident level, in order to have this result. So that's why we call these things as a matcher. And setters, and this one, which one will so the assignment group field will get this value, will get the value from the data lookup table that we already created, and the data lookup table will send that value to the assignment group field. So let's start to create the data lookup table and put this data and see if this thing is going to work or not. So that's what we are going to do right now. So I have pretty much, I don't know what's going on. Okay, great. So in order to do that, the first thing what you need to do is to go to Studio, and we are going to create an application, and this is going to be a global application. It's not going to be a scoped application. So let's click on that and create table, and I'm going to call it data table. Data lookup table. Let's name it just data lookup, my module. Okay, and it should extend another table which is called the data lookup matcher rules. This is highly important if you want to have this table as a data lookup table. All you need to do is to choose this one, data lookup matcher rules. So you click on create. So it's going to create our application. So I have already few information here. This is our table. Data lookup table is called again table, so I don't want to call it twice table. Just update it in this way. Great. So data lookup table, and you should match data lookup matchers roles. So if you click on here, you should have DL_matcher. That's first thing, is highly important. The second thing I would like to have this module in my preference. So it's called data lookup. So let's go here, and I'm going to type data lookup. So I'm going to refresh. So I have it here. I'm gonna put it in the preference, so it's going to be easy for me to come later and work on that. So the first thing what we have to do is to create our fields, right? So we have 3 different fields. So this one we are not going to create, it will be automatically there, but we are going to create category, subcategory, and assignment group. So let's do that. So category. So category is basically a choice field. Subcategory is also a choice field, and assignment group. Okay, and this is going to be a reference which is going to give us like all the groups. So I'm going to choose this one, which will allow me to choose the groups that I have here, in fact. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to save that one. And there is a quickest way to choose the fields, like those fields that we have here, which inquiry for category and so on, or subcategory. Not going on the design form and add the details. You can directly, for example, click on category, and you go to advanced view, and here you're going to choose in advanced view, sorry, you go to choice list specification. At this point I'm going to look for the incident table, so this one, and I choose case, automatically popping out category as is the first choice, you know. So that's the thing. So I'm going to update this. So at this point you have to notice one thing, that in the choice we don't have any values. I will show you a little bit later a little trick to have all the values automatically. So let's first create for every group that we have created. So subcategory, we are going to do the same thing. So advanced view, and we're going to choose our incident table, and it's going to be subcategory, this one. Great. So this part is done. The assignment group is already done, so we don't need to do any more action to add values. We have added all 3 fields. Now what we have to do is to make sure that in the choice here that we have all the values, because as you can see here there is nothing. So in order to do that, you go back to your design form of your table and you just do certain manipulation. So you're gonna just add the subcategory and the category and the assignment group, okay, and you click on save. So now if I go back to my table and I look to, for example, subcategory, I should have all the choices. So as you can see here, choices 18, so I have all of them here. So that is the quickest way to update the table, because it takes some time to load the data. So you have to do some kind of actions in order to bring the data in this table, so in this list, in fact. So this part is done. Now what we have to do, I'm going to my layout list, and I want to make sure that I have everything what I need when I'm going to complete the input the data. So I have subcategory. I'm going to put the category on the top, subcategory, assignment group, active, order. Let's put active in the end. So this is the way the Excel file sheet is separate. So we have order, category, subcategory, assignment group. So I'm going to save it. Perfect. Now we have our table. We have our table which has the form, which has the proper layout, and so on. Now what we have to do before even inserting the data inside our data lookup table. So I'm going to show you the data lookup table is there. So if I click new, I have the choices here, for example. Before even inserting all the data, I have to first of all create the rules, which is going to check who is the matchers, who is the setters. We have to set the rules, and in order to trigger this, in order to have this information, if you have the combination inquiry help and antivirus, you should have this result. So we have to create these conditions. So I'm going to system policy, and at that point you have data lookup definition. So we are going to define a definition in order to, so the definition is like what is the relation between the data lookup table and the incident table. We have already few of them before. We have priority lookup. This is the one which makes when you choose the priority high and priority low, or priority, sorry, the impact high and urgency high, which gives you the answer critical. This one is the one which is making. But at this point we are not going to work on that. We are working on our categories and subcategories and assignment groups. So I'm going to click on data lookup rule and going to create a new one. So I have here, I have to choose here, you have to make sure that you have already 3 of them, but we have created one global one for us, which is data lookup table, this one. And then I'm going to choose the incident table. So as you know here, that we are creating a relation in between the source table. When I'm talking about master table, is the table which is giving the data, that where we are going to put the data. For now we haven't put anything, but we are going to do that. And then we are choosing the source table, which is the table which is going to get updated, where you are going to make changes. Depending on the changes, you are it's going to get updated some values in a certain field. Okay, so I'm going to write here data assignment group definition, and let's leave it like this for now. Okay, I have it here. So if I click on that, so these ones should be ticked. It should be active. It should be running on form change, on insert. If you want on update, you can tick it. So I'm gonna leave it as it is because most of the other rules have all of the boxes checked. So I'm gonna keep it like this. So I'm gonna create now my matchers. If you remember, if I take my matches are category and subcategory. So I choose here category, which is the source table, the category of my incident table. Here, the category of my matcher table. If you remember, when I was creating the matcher table, when I was putting the field, I choose the small letter, so I can see the difference here. And what it's going to do is going to check those fields are going to have a relation when I'm creating the matcher field definition, and also going to check if the data is going to be the same. Did I choose inquiry help? Did I have the same thing in my data lookup table? Yes, true. If you return true, go look for the setter and take the value from the setter, send that value to the form. That's the logic here. So I'm creating one, the first one, the category, and I'm going to create the second one now, which is going to be the subcategory. So let's type subcategory. You can see capital letter at first, and the second one has a small letter, just to show you how the difference. So this is the matcher table from where we choose the subcategory, and then it's going to be the subcategory of the source table, and I'm going to choose the same thing here, exactly got match. So we have defined at this point all our matchers. So now we have to do our assignment group. Okay, sorry, our setter. So I'm going to click on setter field definition, and I'm going to choose here assignment group. So first one, and here the matcher table assignment group. So same logic here. Assignment group, where we have the data, for example, service desk, is the data will send to our source table, which is our incident table, to the field assignment group if the condition of the matches will become true. In our case, we have two different fields, so the combination should be true, not only one field. So I'm going to put always replace. In case you're in a certain form, you have it's going to replace the existing value on the assignment group. So now it's done. We have our matchers, we have our setters. Perfect. We have all these things, but we are going to do this order, which is going to be important for us later. So where we have to go into do this order, I'm going back to my preference. I click on DataLookup Table. I'm going to create one by one what we have in my Excel file sheet. So the first thing is going to be Inquiry Hub Antivirus Service Desk. So Inquiry Hub Antivirus, and I'm looking for service desk or test for service desk. So it should be on the other one. So it's here. Okay, I'm going to give the number that I have here. So I guess it was 120. Yes. So great. So at this point, if I choose Inquiry Help and Antivirus, it should trigger in my assignment group service desk. Let's see if this is going to work or not. So sometimes I have to reload everything because the rule is there is a script running behind. So I would like to make sure that this thing is going to work. So I'm going to impersonate to myself. That's where I was working. And here I'm going to look for the incident table. So I have it in my preference. No. Open. So I'm going to open an empty one. going to be global. Okay, and I'm going to choose inquiry and antivirus. As you can see here, we have service desk immediately. So it's working perfectly. Now what we have to do, we just need to complete the rest of the table and check if everything is going to work though. So it's going to be just some manual work. So I'm going to complete this one, have some warning and message. It's going to be 121. And it's going to be software. And what did I have? Email. Okay, and it's going to be software. Great. So I have again the same thing. So 121 is great. So now I'm going to create another one. It's going to be hardware. It's going to be CPU. Okay, and here it's going to be hardware. Let's see it's going to give me hardware or not. Great. So it's going to be 122. Perfect. I'm going another one. This time it's going to be network, and I'm going to choose DHCP and network basically. Okay, and it's going to be 123. And the third one, the last one, database, and I want to choose what's the database that I want to have? DB2, IBM database. So I'm going to choose here, type database. It's going to be 124. So that's what I have here. Right. So I submit. So I have my table perfectly done. So I'm going to check if for the rest of the choice is going to work or not. Right. So let's do that. So I prefer to reload once more because sometimes this is not like, it's a computer. And now we are going to look for incident table, and I'm going to choose the first one. So if I choose inquiry antivirus, I have service desk. If I choose software and email, I have software. If I choose hardware and CPU, I have hardware. If I choose network and DHCP, it's going to be, yes, it's going to be network, we have it. And if I choose database and DB2, it's going to be database. So that's how you create a data lookup, so you can have pretty much faster results. Like you can automate a lot of different things by creating a data lookup table. So hope you understand everything I said and you enjoyed the tutorials. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.